Should we
act like we like each other? Good. I kind of like you a little bit, or something. Okay. Ready? Together?
1, 2, 3.
Hey, I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're getting married.
That we are.
We are getting married August 9th. Wait, let me help you. 2014. That means we are going to be planning a wedding.
Woohoo.
Yay! I'll probably be planning most of it. He's going away to school in a few weeks, so it's actually...
Works out pretty well.
Yeah, it's convenient for you. Anyway, so we're going to be planning a wedding, and we would just like you to join us along the journey because we think it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
For me.
For her.
You wouldn't enjoy it. But we just thought it would be a good idea before we get doing that to kind of give you a look into who we are and how we met and how this kid proposed. This guy, he's not a kid. How did we meet, Ryan?
It's a good question.
He probably doesn't remember. I remember.
No, the way we met, so I had this really good friend, her name was Ashley, and I've been friends with her for several years. But what happened is I was gone, I was out of the state for 2 years. I was serving a mission for my church. And when I got back, Ashley had made this new friend that supposedly she hung out with all the time.
That's me.
So when I got back from those 2 years in Virginia, I was hanging out with Ashley, and that's how I guess we formally met, which is interesting because I had known who Chelsea was for quite a long time, and she'd probably known who I was because we kind of grew up in the same area. We went to the same church, but we just had never...
Yep, because we both lived in the same hometown for the last 20 some odd years.
It's funny because we went back and looked at like pictures of things that we were at or events that we were at, whether it was like when we were younger, whether it was just like older with mutual friends, but there's pictures of us kind of in the same places at the same parties, and that was kind of funny.
Kind of fun.
Anyways, we met June of 2013.
Right.
And
At a parade.
At a parade, yes, the big strawberry festival here in Marysville.
That was the first time we formally met. After that, we pretty much hung out all summer long, doing all sorts of things.
It's kind of difficult to do much though because 2 or 3 weeks after I got back, I dislocated my ankle. I ended up on crutches for the rest of the summer.
Kind of limited our summer activities. So we ended up playing a lot of cards and watching a lot of movies. And I don't know, the more we hung out with each other, it's like, hey, I really like this guy. He's fun. I think the cool thing was that I think it's easy a lot of times for you to have a good time when you're out and doing things and like doing exciting things. But like once he hurt his ankle, we weren't really ever doing much of anything exciting. And it was still an enjoyable time.
We did find out that we have some good common ground though. We're both big movie buffs.
Movie buffs.
Even though we couldn't go out and do stuff, we got to watch movies and get to geek out in front of Lord of the Rings and Star Wars.
Definitely
and things
did
like that.
Yeah. And how did the whole dating thing happen? You should tell that story.
That was nerve-wracking. Holy cow. I don't know. So I decided that I was kind of interested in this girl over here.
Yep.
And I was nervous as all heck. I just remember like trying to ask her out on a date for 2 or 3 weeks, trying to work up the guts to say something. And when I finally did, like it obviously wasn't a date. Like we just had mentioned we should go see a movie or something because Ashley wasn't going to be around, and it wasn't like I was asking her on a date. It wasn't clear at all, and so I had to like figure out some way to slide into there the fact that we were going on a date, and then I just didn't want to hang out with her. Yeah,
so in order for him to like make it an official date, he threw lunch in there. It's like, so do you want to go get lunch before we go see the movie? It's like, okay, then I
just slide that one in there.
But anyways, we figured it all out and we went on a date, and
things just sort of went from there.
was that the only time? That was like the only I think that was the only date that we went on before we actually started dating.
Yeah, even after like the date, we still didn't like just start dating right away. Like,
it was a few weeks.
I was kind of apprehensive because I knew I was going off to school just a month and a half or so later, and so I didn't want to like dive into anything too serious and then end up leaving for school and leaving that behind and whatnot. But eventually we just made the decision that we were going to keep going with things, and
Yeah. So
we really liked each other and things were going well. And
so for 3.5 months while he was at school out of state in Idaho, we talked on the phone all the time, which is weird because both of us hate talking on the phone, and we Skyped a lot.
all the time.
And we did that, and then he came home for Thanksgiving, so we saw each other then, and then he came home for Christmas, and he's been home for the last few months since Christmas.
It was interesting though because we were already kind of talking about how I felt about each other and marriage and everything before I got back from school. And when I got back, we would start talking about things, and we really couldn't talk about things too much, and we didn't really, nothing was official at that point. And I remember having,
It's gonna make me sound really dumb.
I just remember having several conversations where we were trying to like make plans for what our future held and everything, but I hadn't proposed yet, we hadn't gotten engaged yet, and so we weren't sure like what our plans were and where things were going. And
anyways, but he talked to my dad and popped the question. That's a good story. Should I tell that story?
you should tell that story.
How he proposed. Everybody loves a good proposal story.